What if I told you the healthiest diet isn't keto, it isn't carnivore, it isn't plant-based, it isn't Mediterranean, it is the diet that's uniquely for you. No diet works for everyone. And no matter how logical and how well it's presented, it may not be for you. The right diet is the one that's for you, for right now, for where you live, for where you're at with your health. Hello, and welcome back to the Good Gut Feeling podcast, where we digest modern medicine with old world wisdom. My name is Dr. Alexandra Shustina. I'm your host for your weekly podcast. And today we're going to dive right in to a very important topic that you've been hearing a lot about, and that is food is medicine. And how do we choose the right diet? Because we hear so much out there. And these days, so many people are trying to max out their protein and just get enough grams of protein. And some think that's enough. And some people are just entirely plant-based because they follow someone else who said that's the best way. And honestly, I was in that camp because I actually don't eat any meat. And I thought that was good for everyone. But I realized it's not the case. And from my years of experience, I've realized that there are some basic things that we mostly already know, like eating clean, like eating whole foods, like minimizing preservatives, toxins, and some specific foods which we know don't really work, like seed oils. But how to choose the right healthy whole foods, that's a very unique process. And that's not only for one person versus the other. It's really what is good for you at this current moment. And that may shift. That may shift based on the season, your state of health, your age, what you're going through in life. And it's important to be able to determine which is the right food for me at this moment. In today's episode, we're going to dive right in how to determine the right foods for you based on intuitive eating and traditional Chinese medicine. Ready to ditch the noise and start listening to your gut? Let's dive right in. If one diet worked for everyone, we still wouldn't be struggling, searching, and sick. Every body is different. We have our genetics. All of us come with a framework. Now, genes are not rigid. Yes, we get one set from our mother, one set from our father, but they can be modified and they can be expressed differently through lifestyle changes. So they create a template. They create a guideline, they create predispositions, they create strengths and weaknesses, but they are by no means determinant of our fate, of our health, and of our reality. But it's important to know what works best for me may not be what works best for someone else. For someone else, could be something totally different. For many years already, we've been hearing about the trend diet. So at one point, we thought everyone should eat low fat. And people were drinking 1% milk, thinking that's healthier, eating more sugar, more carbs, and less fat, thinking that's the healthier diet. Then Dr. Atkins came in with his revolutionary diet of low carbs. And a lot of people lost a lot of weight, but it wasn't for everyone, just like no diet is for everyone. And now we're hearing two camps. One camp is the high animal protein camp, where you should be eating a certain number of grams of protein. Typically, those grams of protein are not defined, meaning we're saying, okay, eat your eggs, eat your fish, eat your meat, but it almost doesn't matter what it is. Then the other camp is, no, everyone should only eat plant-based, and that is really what builds our microbiome, and that is also true for some people. But neither works for everyone. So it's important not to jump on a bandwagon of a diet because a diet doesn't work for everyone. No diet works for everyone. And no matter how logical and how well it's presented, it may not be for you. Even if it is for your friend, it doesn't mean it's for you. And even though it worked for someone, doesn't mean it's for you. So how do we deconstruct the noise? Because there's so much out there. What do we do? Number one is intuitive eating. Intuitive eating isn't eating what you want, it's eating what your body needs. The question is, how do we determine what our body needs? So I like pancakes and someone else likes pizza, but does that mean my body wants it? And this is different. And A craving is different than intuition. What we crave may not be what our body needs. So how do we determine that? First, we need to be in a calm and settled place to determine what is the right food. So before you start eating, take a pause. Don't rush into it. Take a few deep breaths. Maybe put your hand on your heart and ask, what food does my body want right now? And maybe you're going to get it right, and maybe you're going to get it wrong the first time. And then you eat. You eat based on your best assessment. And notice how you feel. Do you feel good? Do you feel energized? Do you feel happy? The next day, do you feel well rested? Or do you feel tired? Do you feel bloated? Do you feel heavy? Do you feel like you can't focus? Do you feel itchy? Do you feel congested? Keep track, because sometimes it doesn't happen right away. I often have patients tell me, well, I think I can eat that because I feel fine afterwards. But how do you feel the next day? And this is important to keep track. So if I notice, okay, well, I feel fine after I eat bread, but the next day I'm always tired. And 3 days later, I always have a rash. Or 3 days later, my skin feels dry. Or something along those lines, you can start to get an idea of what works, of what doesn't work. And the more we are connected to ourselves, the more we can eat in the state of calm and peace, the more we can really get feedback from our body about what works and what doesn't work. And remember, it may not be what someone told you on social media. It may not even be what your doctor said, because your body is the greatest teacher. So take the time, tune in, and listen to what your body has to say. The more you practice checking in, the more your body's going to guide you. So before your next meal, put your hand on your heart, take a few deep breaths, and ask, what does my body need to nourish itself right now? And then trust the answer. Food is not just physical. It's also energetic. Traditional Chinese medicine teaches us about the energy of food, and the right energy can heal your gut at the root. In traditional Chinese medicine, food is classified as hot or cold or damp or dry. And why is that important? Because balance is key. So if I'm experiencing symptoms of being too hot, then I need cooling foods, because that's going to bring my body back to balance. If I'm experiencing symptoms of being cold, then I need heating foods to bring my body back to balance. So ultimately, it's balance. And this explains why your friend needs totally different foods than you, than your mom, than your neighbor and your brother, or even your sister. It just is specific to you. Now, it also means that the foods that are good for you today may be totally different than the foods good for you in a month or a week or a year, because it's fluid and our bodies change and we change and our lives change and our food needs to keep up. So how do we determine that? First, let's identify how we are feeling. Now, there's so much to this, but we're going to go into some basic points. What does it mean being in a hot state? So some hot patterns may be red face, acne, feeling angry. Remember, emotions are also classified in the same way, and emotions are intimately related to bodily functions. Strong body odor, constipation, or feeling hot can all be signs of body heat. So if our body is in a state of heat, we want to cool it down with cooling foods. What are cooling foods? Things like watermelon, celery, mint, leafy greens, citrus, raw or lightly steamed foods. All would be great for someone with a hot composition. What about the opposite? What are some patterns of being in a cold state? Fatigue, loose stools, cold hands and feet, pale complexion, low libido can all be signs. So then we want foods that are warming. What feels warm to you? Broth, cinnamon, ginger, lamb, roasted, or slow-cooked meals. All would be great for a cold composition. What about dampness? Dampness can be associated with mucus, sluggishness, stagnation of liquids, bloating, brain fog. All could be signs of dampness. So then we want drying foods. Drying foods are asparagus, bitter greens, barley, azuki beans. All can be drying foods. And then you really want to stay away from things like dairy, fried foods, and cold smoothies. Now, what's the opposite? Dryness. How do you know you're experiencing dryness? Dry skin, throat, or eyes, like a scratchy throat. scratchy, dry eyes, constipation with dry stools, feeling hot at night. All could be signs of dryness. So now we want foods that would increase moisture. Pears, chia seeds, apples, spinach, and seaweed will all be great choices. Things to avoid: cooked soups and porridges. There's so much more to this, but you're getting the idea. The idea is to get back into balance. And the greater picture is the right diet for you is not the one that you heard on social media or the one that someone else is doing great with. The right diet is the one that's for you, for right now, for where you live, for where you're at with your health. And it's important because food is medicine, but just as you would not take a pill that worked for your friend, you would take a pill that's designed specifically for you. You wouldn't take your friend's medication or your family member's medication because the medication is specifically prescribed. The same with food. So what do? 5 easy steps. Number 1, identify your internal state. Number 2, observe your symptoms. Don't ignore things that might be small. Number 3, choose foods that balance rather than intensify. Number 4, trust your intuition. And number 5, track what works. 5 easy steps to help you determine what is the right food for you. You don't need the perfect meal plan or label. You need to come home to your body, and your body already knows. Thank you for watching. If you like what you've heard, please subscribe. Please share with a friend. We have so much more on wholegut.com. Stay healthy, stay gutsy, and I look forward to seeing you all next week.